We'll just jump into this very quickly with, yes, they're finally bringing a new Dex weapon, the Dex Nakana. It took them 7 years, but they finally decided that they needed something more than just cosmetic stuff. Does it forgive the 10-year anniversary stuff? Well, we'll see when it comes out. I'm just happy that they learned cosmetics do not make a good anniversary content. I'm a little bit more concerned at the fact that they wouldn't date when this is coming. Let me. March 25th on all platforms, because that is their anniversary date. We've kind of known about that for the past, I don't know, 11 years. As for the rest of the stream, they did go on about the lore that will be coming with the Dante Unbound update. Being Darvus, Granum, and the Laverian, and the guy who runs the Laverian, all basically doing a deal because the Laverian might be up for sale, and the disruption mission that they are adding you have to do to try and save the Laverian. How that's going to work, I was really hoping they were going to mention that or show that, but they didn't. So I like the fact that they didn't show it, because it means that at least some things will be kept hidden, secret, until the update comes out. But of course they did show off Dante wearing his cosmetics. That backfired on them when the camera was clipping through it, didn't it? But hey, at least they're showing off the cosmetics, as well as the alternate helmet that had the... It kind of pointed out, because I didn't notice it beforehand, he's got a big grey beard, because they are referring to him as a librarian. He's going to be deeply embedded in the Laverian, hence the librarian part of it. That's when it starts to make sense, because his lore is going to be deeply embedded within the Laverian. Hasn't been a Laverian for a frame in a while. His abilities I will have to go into more in depth as soon as he actually comes out, but his first ability will summon his exalted weapon, the Noctua. No fan jokes, please. Moving on. It is a tome that will have no limits to tome mods you can install to it. But you do not need to cast his first ability to use his second, third, and fourth ability, which are all changing pages and using those changed pages, that's what the fourth will do, within the book. His tome, you use it and it will work just like the other tome does. When you don't have it out, you can use other weapons and still cast his second ability, which will be Light Verse. This will change the page to light inside of it, and as far as I can say, basically something defensive. His third ability will be Dark, that will be something offensive. Combining these using his fourth is going to, you can either have 2 light verses, 2 dark verses, or a mix of them both. It will use the last 2 pages of verses you actually cast. Yeah. But you don't need to have his tome out to actually use them. He does look like a really interesting frame. I'm looking forward to see how this is going to work with damage dealing, buff giving, and everything else he is going to have. It's interesting because they tried to go into a lot more details about it, and really, I kind of want to see this in action for myself, rather than the way they did, which was basically spamming abilities. You know, you can't really see the perks of using an ability if you're spamming second, third, and fourth constantly. So he is having the pages change depending on if you use light versus dark verses, the combination of them, the fact you can then use a double ability for his fourth. Yeah, that would be 5 different abilities from 3. So he's actually going to be really interesting of a frame to use. They also did show the new Incarnon weapons that will be coming, the Onos and the Ruvox, but they kind of only showed the Ruvox. The Onos primary weapon that is going to be a wrist-mounted cannon. The Ruvox, the new fist weapon, with hints of Void Angel fallout on these. That's going to be interesting to see where they go with that, because hopefully there's a lot more in the description and how they are going to work, because incarnate weapons and everything else. It's hard to remember the last time they actually released a fist weapon. And in its incarnate form, it's going to turn into a claw-based weapon. With what looked like an increase to attack speed, the Onos wasn't shown as it's not quite ready yet, but it is going to be more fun to see what the incarnate options are for these two weapons than possibly the weapons themselves, because in their incarnate form they should be ridiculously powerful. They'd better be, considering how late game these things are actually supposed to be. But with two new weapons, well, you need somewhere new to use them, right? The disruption will be fun and all. I'm looking forward to having the enemy steal loot and run away. That is going to be really interesting. But they are adding a new system, the Deep Archimedia. It's classed as a deeper, sortie style mission with a wider range of frames and weapons that you can choose from. So instead of it being one weapon, one frame, it's basically a choice of 3. So you can choose from 3 frames, 3 primaries, 3 secondaries, 3 melee. The combination is going to be so much better. Kind of wish they would do this to things like sorties instead of being fixed to you have to use this one frame and this one weapon, otherwise you don't get the added bonuses that are going to come from that. But that's not why it's called a deeper sortie style mission. Oh no, these missions have different modifiers to them that increase the research points, and the research points will basically give you higher tiered rewards at the end of the deep sortie missions. The kicker is, once you have chosen your frame, you don't have to use one of the 3 frames or 3 weapons. Well, technically 9 weapons, but nonetheless, you don't have to choose what they are telling you. You will just get different perks if you can build a setup using the ones that are there. Once you start these missions, you have to do all 3 of them without ever returning to the orbiter. So you imagine starting a sortie and never going back to your orbiter. That is what is going to happen with this deeper sortie style mission. And at first I kind of thought, really? You're going to force me to do 3 missions back to back? What about when you basically play in an open lobby and you just join randoms and one of the randoms decides to leave after the first mission? Does that mean you're screwed for the rest of the run? That is probably the biggest problem with this, because the rewards are going to be just like the Necrocell. And if you can get one, well, from what they showed, there's 4 different levels. There's the max level of points and 3 kind of beforehand. If each one rewards what they said it was going to, that basically means one run on this could possibly give you 3 Archon shards instead of just 1. Because the rewards are actually, they said it, just like the Necrocell. Which has Archon shards in it. So you could come out of that with 3 Tau Forged Archon shards. If you choose the correct things and then choose from the lovely pool of modifiers. These missions have different modifiers on them that increase the research items, and this is a weekly style mission, so they will change every week. I'm interested in this one a lot because I haven't done sorties in ages because I cannot get that last route. I've never, ever got the fabled legendary core to drop from a sortie. The sorties, for what you have to do to them, for them, yeah, you should have a chance of getting a much better reward at the end of it. This, well, you basically can. And that, I really, really, really like the look of. And we'll end this with a simple... The 56th Warframe, Dante, will be coming in Dante Unbound. They said they were going to give us very important dates for this. We already know this is coming in March. They said so last month. But the date we got was coming March. Date coming soon. That could be anything from it's already in the forums to it could be next week to they'll announce it a week before it comes out. It just means it hasn't passed cert yet. It could literally be tomorrow, Monday, or it could be any time between now and when it actually comes out. If it had passed cert, they would have given it a date. I was really hoping we would have a release date for this. They are the ones who said they were announcing special dates for this. Nope, the dates were actually more TennoCon related things. So with that, we'll leave this off here. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.